But what happens when you inherit a team rather than sort of build your team as you go? How do you handle when it's not quite right?
So I don't think there's an easy first answer to this. But I think what you've got to realize is that whenever you see a business being bought, there's a reason why key personnel have golden handcuffs around them for a number of years as part of the deal to ensure they stay in the business. The reality is that very often the people that you inherit have a completely different purpose and why to the buyer of the business, because they were building something else. They may not have been there to be bought, and suddenly they've got a different way of working, a different culture being imposed on them. And let's be honest, it is being imposed on them. They are just kind of collateral in the midst of the firing line. And this is why we often see such a great, brain drain after a business has been bought. So I want to put that context there. And the reason why I'm saying that is don't assume that everybody is going to be there for the long term and expect that you'll get some fallout. So what are the first things that you need to do when you inherit this leadership team? You need to get some one-on-one time with each member of them. Why are they there? What really makes them tick? What's their driving purpose? You can ask them what's their view on the deal and the fact they're being bought. Are you going to get an honest answer? I don't know. It's a question, but the first thing you've got to understand is what's their why? What's their purpose? What are they motivated? And actually, does that match with where you want to take the business? Because if that doesn't match long-term with where you want to take the business, then you've got a succession plan that needs to happen probably quicker than you may have actually seen it. That can be a compromise out, which is why you often see board members moving on very quickly after a buy has happened. Or it could be that you have an adult conversation with, well, I need you to help establish this, and then I will give you an honourable exit. And of course, this has to be done with employment law advice and all of this sort of stuff. But you have to be having adult conversations with that leadership team. Now, it's always worth going to that leadership team to saying, what should we preserve? I know that sounds weird, but just think about it. There's been this great party going on. Now, everybody thinks it's a great party. Nobody's really realized that the white wine is warm. Nobody's realized that the sausage rolls have gone a bit off. But everybody thinks it's a great party. And somebody's come along and said, right, we're changing the music. We're going to do this now. But that's what it feels like when somebody grows the business. Suddenly, everything was great about the party. How dare they come in? So the first thing you want to do is be really sensitive to their feelings and go, right, what do we need to keep? What is absolutely great about this business? What was the reason why we bought you in the first place? And what is the very essence that we should at all costs aim to keep? And that's part of those conversations you had individually and as a team. We need to acknowledge what has gone before, praise what has gone before, make sure that people don't think, oh, well, they're not bothered about what I think. They're not acknowledging all the hard work I put, because as soon as somebody thinks that they're not important to you, they're not appreciated, they're not recognized or valued, they'll be talking to that headhunter quicker than you can say a quick thing. If they've just been bought, they're probably still talking to the headhunter anyway, unless they've got golden handcuffs. If that's so, they're busy doing their networking to ready to exit. And if you take a viewpoint that the thing you're buying, most people will think of exiting, that is a really good starting point, because then you won't be surprised. And actually, it also means you're going to work doubly hard to get to know these people, to get to engage them, to realize that they're not taken as a given. They haven't been bought. You've bought the business, you've not bought them personally. So you need to spend the time to getting them alongside. Do they need them? I'm going to come back very shortly. Do they need their remuneration package looked at? And I'm not meaning just bunging them more money. Is there things about how they can get more involved? Where have they got ambitions that were maybe being kept pushed down by the previous owner? How can you get them on side? What's motivating them? And then it's about the short-term plan and the long-term plan. So what needs to happen the next week to move forward together? What needs to happen in the next month? Then what needs to happen in the next 3 months? And then it's about, how do I keep a dialogue going with these people? I'm a great believer in the Shackleton phrase of keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So what's going on in their teams? What's going on? How are they doing things? And it's how can you promote psychological safety with them?